Good day, Junior Tuckies. I am Mrs. Beardencamp, and in this lesson, I will be teaching you how to critically analyze a text. What is it to annotate a text? It's to summarize or sum up a text. It can be a visual text or a written text, and it's to make a clear and concise understanding of the text, the picture, or the adverts. Over here, there are some synonyms for annotating. To sum up, sum, summarize, or resume. Steps to annotating a text. How do we find the main points? Use this simple recipe to help you find and sum up the main points of any text you will come into contact with. Step 1. Read. It really is as simple as that. You need to read the text, then read the questions. Read the text again and read the questions again. So you must have read the text and the questions at least twice. Step 2. Circle words you don't understand in the text. Try to replace these words with words you do understand to try understand what the text is trying to convey. Then step 3. Highlight or underline any important information. Now this isn't the entire text. You need to be able to summarize and find the main points of at least every single paragraph. Then, top tip over here is to highlight the main idea. As I said before, you cannot highlight everything. Step 4, draw an arrow when making a connection from one part of the text to another. Then, step 5, start answering the questions. Highlight what the question is asking. Highlight the mark allocation to guide you when you're answering this question. And just remember that you do not get marks for yes or no. If a question is out of 2, it means you need to make 2 points. This is an extract from The Languages That Defy Auto-Translate. We're going to use this as a practice to see if we can annotate this text. Let's have a look. Imagine you come across a message that could contain life-saving information. But there's a problem. You don't understand a word. You're not even sure which of the world's thousands of languages is it written in. What do you do? If the message is in French or Spanish, typing it into an automatic translation engine will instantly solve the mystery and produce a solid answer in English. But many other languages still defy machines translation, including languages spoken by millions of people, such as Wolof and Luganda in Africa. That's because the algorithms that power these engines learn from human translations, ideally millions of words of translated text. There is an abundance of such material for languages like English, French, Spanish, and German. But no such data mountain exists, however, for languages that may be widely spoken but not as prolifically translated. They are known as low-resource languages. The fallback machine training material of these languages consists of religious publications, including the much-translated Bible. But this amounts to a narrow data set and is not enough to train accurate, wide-ranging translation robots. This language barrier can pose a problem for anyone who needs to gather precise global information in a hurry, including intelligence agencies. Now, grade 11s, you need to read that one more time. Let's have a look at the questions. Number 1, define the term abundance in your own words for 1 mark. 1.2, in your opinion, who do you think the target audience is for this article? Give a reason for your answer. 2 marks. 1.3. In your own words, explain what Carl Rubino means when he says, many challenges we face today, such as economic and political instability, the COVID-19 pandemic, and climate change, transcend our planet and thus are multilingual in nature. 1.4. What is meant by low-resource languages? Now, let's look at how we could annotate the text on the next slide. Now, let's have a look at how we should annotate the text using the steps. Step 1, we've already done. Remember, you should read the text at least twice as well as the questions. Step 2 is to circle unknown words. Over here, I have circled the unknown words as the languages that were spoken by people or spoken by millions that are not easily translatable. Okay, we can replace those languages with the word language. The other word that I circled over here is an algorithm. A way to understand an algorithm is almost like formulae, using formulae in order to understand how something works. Then the term abundance, meaning plentiful, and then also prolifically. That means to have a frequentness of translated languages. Then we have step 3, highlighting the important parts of the text. As you can see over here, not everything has been highlighted. This is key to understanding what the main points of your texts are. And then step 4, drawing arrows to related ideas within the texts. So French and Spanish, you can see I've drawn an arrow to widely spoken, okay? But also learning from human translations, it's not enough to train an accurate translation robot. This is going to aid you and help you in understanding and finding the main points and annotating a text. We will do step 5, annotating the questions, in the next slide. Step 5, annotating the questions. You will see over here, number 1, define the term abundance in your own words for 1 mark. I would have liked you to highlight define the term, and then also in your own words. This is very, very important, grade 11s. If anything is asking for your opinion or in your own words, it cannot be taken directly from the text. So the answer over here for the term abundance is many or lots or even frequent. 1.2. In your opinion, who do you think the target audience for this article is? Give a reason for your answer. 2 marks. In this question, I would have liked you to have highlighted, in your opinion, target audience, article. Okay, and then also giving a reason for your answer so that you don't forget that very key element at the end. And this will be for 2 marks. So it is for linguists or anyone who's interested in language. And over here, I've even included that students' answer must be substantiated, can differ from given answers. And the reason that I added this into the slide is because this is what happens a lot of the time with teachers and assessors, is that we actually give the child or the learner a lot of discretion when we're marking. So if you are able to give a correct answer and back up your answer with evidence, with a reason, it will be given to you. Then 1.3, in your own words, explain what Carl Rubino means when he says, many challenges we face today, such as economic and political instability, the COVID-19 pandemic, and climate change transcend our planet, and thus are multilingual in nature. For 2 marks. Here, I would have liked you to highlighted the understanding. What does this question want from you? So, in your own words, explain what he meant by saying this quote over here. So what does he mean? Carl Rubino is saying that we are all affected by the same things. The problems mentioned, economic and political instability, COVID-19, climate change, all speaks to us. We all understand that these are things that people all around the world have issues with. And then finally, number 4, what is meant by a low resource language for 1 mark? It is a language that is not frequently found on the internet or is not as common as other languages on the internet. This is a simple question. I would have liked you to have highlighted what is meant by. You could have highlighted even the whole question. How has evidence been used to support facts? This is a very important part of analyzing a text. Always look how the text has been cited. Look out for stats, graphs, and infographics that help readers understand the context of the text a lot better. Often this is an indication that research has actually been done. Remember, providing evidence for facts is incredibly important. If no facts are provided, the facts are an opinion. If you do not have facts to back up your opinions, you will lose credibility with the audience. The same with a text that does not give any facts. It loses credibility with the audience. Look closely at how quotations have been used, as persons' words can often be taken out of context. And then please look for direct quotations from experts in a text. Let's look at an example on the next slide. Let's have a look at this extract from Seaspiracy's Netflix documentary accused of misrepresenting or misrepresentation by participants. The film took my statements out of context to suggest that there is no oversight and we do not know whether dolphins are being killed. That is not true. In response to the film, the IMMP said Seaspiracy falsely claims the Dolphin Safe label is a conspiracy to benefit the global fishery industries. David Phillips, the director of the IMMP, said the film had chosen to grossly distort and mischaracterize the aims of the label. In his statements, Phillips said, the Dolphin Safe Tuna program is responsible for the largest decline in dolphin deaths by tuna fishing vessels in history. Dolphin kill levels have been reduced by more than 95%, preventing the indiscriminate slaughter of more than 100,000 dolphins every year. You will see I have highlighted the correct use of direct quotations. In this example, the words of David Phillips were previously taken out of context, and this article wants to actually set it straight. Always think about the aim of the author. Why are they writing this? What's in it for them? This text leads into the next slide about the attitude of the writer. What is the attitude of the writer? What is the most important thing that you need to look at when looking at the attitude of the writer is look at the tone in which the writer is expressing themselves. This will be a clear indicator and is very important in identifying the attitude of the writer. Are they being very critical, or are they maybe favoring one side? Is their tone neutral or is it biased? Look out for personal pronouns like our or we. The author does this to try include and relate to the audience. The audience is included and roped in with the author. Then also look if there is a lack of personal pronouns. This means that the writer is trying to be extremely neutral. Be careful when you're looking at stats, graphs, and information because it can also be used to sway an audience to a certain side of the argument. Writers can distort information to make it lean a specific way. To try and combat this, the easiest thing to do is to read various articles about a certain text. Annotating a visual text versus annotating a written text. A written text, which is the most common you would have come into contact by now, or all of my previous slides, using those steps. And remember, you need to read, read, read. Then something that might be new to you is annotating a visual text. The key over here is to think of the connotations of an image, a color, or a product. So with the image, what are the ideas and the emotions we have around certain images? For example, if you can see an image of a dove on a funeral home's poster, the dove has a connotation of peace. What colors are being presented in the frame? For example, if the visual text's main color is blue, maybe a sense of tranquility, peace, or even cleanliness is presented. And then the product. What ideas and thoughts do we have around certain products? For example, seeing a McDonald's advert could be unhealthy or seen as junk food. Then, what is the aim? What is the goal of the visual text? Use ADA. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. But I'll get into this in the next slide. Then, look at the logo or slogan. What is the logo? Is it easily recognizable? Does the slogan make sense? Does it have a sort of ring to it? Let's look at an example on the next slide. And of course, we always need to ask the question, is it effective? Look carefully at this advert. On the next slide, I will explain how to analyze or how to annotate it. Annotating a visual text. First of all, let's start off with the connotations. Remember, a connotation is the thoughts and feelings you have towards, in this case, an image, color, and product. So, for example, the image in this one is sushi rolled in plastic. we can see that something isn't right. We are immediately going to have a negative connotation. Then the colors are being used over here, blue and white, which is usually for anything that is sanitary or hygienic, or even in this case, it can allude to the fact that it's something coming from the ocean. We also have the brown plastic on the outside of the sushi. This is out of the ordinary, and we have a connotation of plastic being dangerous to ingest. Then, let's have a look at the product. Is this trying to sell us something, or is it trying to inform us? In my opinion, this particular advert is trying to inform us. Now, let's look at the slogan or the logo. The logo is of a plastic bottle, and the slogan says, "Rise above plastics." So it's actually there to indicate to us that this is a warning or to inform us about our plastic use. Let's dive a little bit deeper and use Ada to analyze or to annotate this visual text. First of all, awareness. What made you aware of this advert? What would make you stop scrolling on Instagram to have a look? In my opinion, definitely the fact that the sushi is rolled in plastic. It is something out of the ordinary. We know something is wrong. Interest. What caught your interest? What made you have a look further, read the slogan, look at the logo? The slogan or information below the image is to explain the adverts. We understand this by reading the slogan, by reading the information. We realize that the fact that we are using plastic is becoming more and more evident that it's in our oceans, fish are digesting plastic, and we eventually will start eating plastic too. Then, desire. The desire is to inform people of how plastic consumption is affecting the oceans and us as human beings. And then the last A, action. What is it asking you to do? Is it asking you to buy a product, or is it informing you? In my opinion, the action over here is to be mindful of how much waste you make. Use less plastic and maybe even disposing of plastic in a safer manner. Now, the money question. Is it effective? In my opinion, yes. The visual image is easily identifiable as plastic. The image also conveys the fact that they will be eating plastic soon, as fish are consuming our waste at a rapid speed. What is the straw man argument? It is the logical fallacy of distorting an opposing position in an extreme version of itself and then arguing against that extreme version. This is a direct quote off of Grammarly. But what does that actually even mean? A straw man argument is actually constructing an argument by presenting the opposing position as almost skewed, warped, or distorted. How is one able to do that? By using these 4 steps or using these 4 elements. Oversimplifying the argument, focusing on one part of the argument, taking your argument or the points out of context, and presenting an extreme version of your argument as normal or mainstream. Let's look at examples on the next slide. Examples of the straw man argument. My opponent hates animals and doesn't care how many will be displaced by this project. Over here, this is oversimplifying an argument. It is also undermining or focusing on the one fact that an opponent hates animals. Our principal wants to ban everything that's fun. This is definitely oversimplifying a very common trait that happens in schools. I think this is something that many children think, but it's not as simple as it seems. Then, their only priority is to make more money for their shareholders. So zoning in, focusing on one point of the argument and making it seem as if it is true. One tip over here with a straw man argument to tell if someone's using it on you. Does it sound too good to be true? Or does it sound too simple to be true? Then you know you might be gaslighting by a straw argument. What is the ad hominem attack? This is a type of attack that attacks someone's character of the opposition. It doesn't argue against a point whatsoever. It actually uses bullying tactics to break someone down where they are the weakest. It's almost as if you're attacking someone directly or that you're making their argument seem completely illogical. Often, this type of attack is used when not enough evidence is provided to maintain a logical argument. It's also used to persuade people into believing a one-sided or biased point of view, and then also its aim is to smear someone's reputation. Let's have a look at examples on the next slide. Examples of an ad hominem attack. Firstly, let's look at our first example. How can you argue your case for vegetarianism when you are enjoying that steak? This is undermining someone, especially if you are unable to find the points or the evidence to support an argument. The next example includes person A and person B. All murderers are criminals, but a thief isn't a murderer, and so can't be a criminal. Person B, well, you're a thief and a criminal, so there goes your argument. This is attacking a person at their core. What does the fact that the person may or may not be a thief and a criminal have to do with person A's argument? The next one, this happens to be about the very famous cyclist Lance Armstrong. He's not a great athlete. He's a fraud, a cheat, and a liar. That's why not everybody is happy for Lance. Over here, this is directly going in for the jugular and calling him a fraud, a cheat, and a liar. And then an example from American politics. There's nothing smart about you, Joe, said by President Trump. And the fact is that this man has no idea what he's talking about, said by Joe Biden. This is often used in American politics as a way to convey their message. I hope this lesson is going to help you annotate a text a little bit easier next time during an exam. Good luck, and remember, read, and read some more.